A certain type of pain avoids a loud entrance. It doesn't arrive with a dramatic crash, but rather as a slow, creeping realization that somewhere along the line, you simply stopped being seen. You are still praying and showing up, yet everything has gone still. In that vacuum, a question starts forming that you might be ashamed to even think. Has God forgotten me? If that is your current reality, this experience doesn't indicate a failure of faith. It is actually one of the most consistently documented crises in ancient history. David, a man described as a king and a warrior, famously asked God how long he would continue to hide his face. Job sat in the ashes of his life and felt he had been blocked by darkness, while Elijah reached a point where he simply told God he had seen enough. These figures were caught in a process where the end was invisible to them. Their accounts highlight a vital distinction. The intense emotional feeling of being forgotten is separate from the technical reality of being abandoned by a creator. The level of detail required to automate your survival suggests a creator who is intensely focused on the smallest components of your existence. If that same attention was present during your formation, it perfectly stands to reason that same focus remains active now. The hidden mechanics and true purpose of a waiting season are best seen in the life cycle of a single seed. Above the ground, the soil looks exactly as it did the day you planted it. Below the surface, however, the seed coat is breaking open, and deep roots are aggressively pushing their way through the dark dirt. This phase is entirely invisible, yet it is where the foundation of the plant is built. A wise farmer understands this. They don't dig up the seed every single morning to check for signs of life, because they trust the internal process of germination. From your perspective, the silence looks like a void. From a biological perspective, this is often the most active period of preparation. This pattern of invisible preparation shows up repeatedly in the historical record of the ancient world. Joseph lived through a 13-year gap of slavery and prison before reaching the palace. Abraham's record shows a 25-year stretch between a promise and its fulfillment. On a timeline, these appear as long, flat periods, followed by a sudden vertical trajectory. In the account of Lazarus, a deliberate delay preceded his return to life. The silence wasn't a sign that he was abandoned. It served as the specific setup for a restoration that no one expected. These historical data points suggest that significant delay is often a prerequisite for a significant breakthrough. To navigate your own period of silence, you have to look at the situation through a different lens. The first step is to revisit your own history. Recall a time when a path opened up even though you couldn't see a way forward. That evidence points to a consistent nature in the creator that hasn't changed. Second, consider that silence from someone who cares for you often indicates their full concentration is directed toward your situation. In this context, quietness can be a sign of focused work rather than rejection. Finally, use foundational texts as an objective anchor. These writings serve to remind you of God's character when your subjective feelings are suggesting something else. Actively remembering who is in control during the wait helps to neutralize the feeling of being isolated. There is a definitive passage in the book of Isaiah where God asks if a mother could ever forget the child at her breast. He concludes that even if she could, He will not forget you. Your life is not a name on a temporary list. The text says you are engraved on the palms of His hands. Engraving is permanent, requiring a deliberate and personal action that cannot be easily undone. The current silence is just one chapter in a larger story. A creator capable of managing your biology with such detail continues to work on your behalf, even when you cannot see the results yet. Stay steady. He hasn't looked away.